maybe this will just go away. You can always hope for that. I thought, how can this just go away? You've just told me the diagnosis is that the bone is too thick. How does the bone thin down? You know, I went through 60 years of life and the bone didn't bother me, and then all of a sudden the bone's the problem. I didn't quite understand it. Hi, I'm Bill Fry. I'm from Carson City, Nevada. I had an injury to my hip 4 years ago. I was diagnosed with FAI. The doctor in Carson City said the only resolution to this is surgery, and he was ready to do that, but he said if I wanted to get a second opinion, feel free to do so. So I did, and a second doctor, I came down to San Francisco, and a doctor there said, I agree, you need surgery. The bone on your leg is too thick, and when you move, it impinges against the socket in the hip. This impingement is what's called FAI. Maybe this will just go away. You can always hope for that. I thought, how can this just go away? You've just told me the diagnosis is that the bone is too thick. How does the bone thin down? You know, I went through 60 years of life and the bone didn't bother me, and then all of a sudden the bone's the problem. I didn't quite understand it, and I'm not quite sure what triggered it. I had been doing walking and doing yoga, and at some point doing a pigeon pose, I started to have pain, and the pain got worse, and then the pain occurred when I was walking and steadily got worse. My doctor sent me for a month of physical therapy. At my initial visit to the therapist, she told me that what I needed to do was resign myself to the fact that I wasn't going to walk anymore, that walking was over. So that's what led me to see the doctor and get the diagnosis. And it was sort of more than a diagnosis, it was like a sentence. Here you are. No one ever offered any sort of resolution or way out of this other than surgery. And maybe I would have done that, but the doctors also could give no sort of guarantee or even tell me what, the likelihood of success was. And if you look on the internet, there's all kinds of horror stories of people who have had surgery and no improvement. Or they had surgery and they were very unhappy with the physical therapy after the surgery. They're still in pain. They've spent a lot of money on doctors, therapy, surgery. They're no better today than they were when they started. So I started walking again. After hearing that I couldn't walk, I started walking just a quarter mile a day and just gradually worked my way up, increased it to where I could walk more than 10 miles. I was in pain. I had pain. I would take ibuprofen for the pain, which the doctors were just encouraged me to do. And at some point that didn't seem like a good idea, that I should just constantly be taking ibuprofen on a daily basis. And over time, I just thought this is the way life is going to be. I'll have this pain in my hip, and I'll just deal with it. About 6 months ago, I re-injured, or I brought the pain back up to the level it was at 4 years ago, doing yoga, doing a pigeon pose. And I went, oh man, now I'm going to have to rehab this for 4 years to get back to where I was. So I started doing some research to find a surgeon, to find a therapist, to see what was out there. And while I was doing that research, I found the videos on YouTube and the website for Upright Health. It took me about a week of just checking out the videos that convinced me the FAI fix was something I should try out, because it's so inexpensive, just a couple of doctor's visits or physical therapy, and if you've paid for the cost of the course or the treatment. And so I bought it and began sort of a home program of stretching and exercises, which I did for the next month. And almost immediately I noticed improvement. It was slow, but it was definitely there. Sometimes after stretching, the pain would be relieved, and I think, oh man, if I keep doing this, it's going to be nice. It's a good feeling. As I was doing this at home, I thought, well, maybe I could step up the pace of recovery, contacting the guys down at Upright Health and going down there, having a couple of sessions and see how that worked out. If nothing more than to just say yes or no about what I was doing, was that consistent with what the course was telling me to do? Was I doing the stretches right? Was I doing the exercises right? So I set up an appointment with Vincent. He made sort of an evaluation. We talked it over about my injury, about what I wanted to do. And I started coming down every couple of weeks. After the sessions, Vincent emails me sort of a homework assignment of stretches and exercises that I do in the intervening 2 weeks before I come back down. It's a really interactive process. Continue things that work, sort of jettison those things that aren't working well. Progress has been there. The process is easy to do. These are all things that I can do at home, so it's been great. You know, I've gone to physical therapy a few times. I went for 3 times a week for about a month with the injury, the hip injury. But these are the 6 or 8 exercises that you get assigned for this kind of pain. You're either going to deal with it or not. They're bored with the whole thing. And that's not the way it is here. And that was apparent to me the day I walked in the door. It's a real collaborative process where if something is working, that continues and is expanded upon. And if something's not working, well, then we don't do that. Something else, substitute some different stretch or exercise in. I can't say that I'm better today than I was yesterday or last week, but I'm definitely better than I was 3 months ago. I've become more flexible. My hips feel looser, can move around easier. I can squat past 90 degrees. I can get my butt down below my knees. How long ago that was that I could do that. And I have, after both sessions here or at home when I do the stretching and the exercises, I move around pain-free. And it's remarkable how I went from sort of this resigned, this is the way it's going to be, to this optimistic, things are getting better and they can continue to improve. I was doing the program at home, making progress, and I wanted to speed that up. So I came down here, and I think I'm now making progress at twice the rate as I was at home. I was expecting to be here at 3 months. I was expecting this to take 6 months. I'm hoping to, if I do this, just stick with this for 1 year, the cost is really minimal compared to surgery, therapy, what have you, or just suffering through it. There's no point in just enduring this for the sake of enduring it, to say that, where there's alternatives available. You work up to this wall and you're pushing against it, and then you relax. Then you can come back and push against it some more. You just keep moving forward against that, and it gets better. And remember, pain sucks. Life shouldn't.